this is her father, and that is her sister, and that's her husband, and that's grandfather. Oh, well, give me your hat and make yourself at home.
I'm afraid you must be mistaken.
How so? Wilma C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
Well, what can we do for you?
Does Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Yes, ma'am, that's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government wants to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax.
You mind if I sit down?
No, go right ahead.
Thank you.
Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
No, Alice. It's an internal something or other. Pardon me.
Mr. Sycamore! Mr. Sycamore! What is it? Things aren't going off. Look! Not here. Grandpa's busy. Oh, excuse me. Me?
Tomato?
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Are you sure about that tomato?
Yeah, sure. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, we've written you several letters about this matter, but we haven't had any reply.
That's what those letters were, I see.
I told you they were from the government.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it seems that you've never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
I do.
And you receive a yearly income from it
That's right.
of between $3,000 and $4,000.
Yeah, something like that.
You've been receiving it for years.
Since 1901, if you want the exact date.
Well, the government's only concerned from 1914 on, because that's when the income tax started.
Well,
Well, it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, you owe the government 24 years back in income tax.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't go back that far. That's an outlaw.
Mm-hmm. And what's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever file an income tax return?
No, ma'am.
And what was your income last year?
About $28.50, wasn't it, Essie?
Oh, yes, ma'am, it was.
If you please.
No, but Mr. Vanderhoff, you know there's quite a penalty for not paying an income tax.
Penalty?
look, Wilma, let me ask you a question. Well, suppose I do pay this income tax. Now, mind you, don't say I'm going to pay it, just for the sake of argument. What's the government going to do for me?
What do you mean?
Well, say I walk into Macy's. There's a jacket I like. There it is, I see it. What's the government give me?
Well, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
From what?
Invasion. Foreigners that might come over and take everything you've got.
Oh, I don't think they'll do that.
If you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you think over the Army and Navy? All those battleships?
Well, we haven't used battleships since the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? We got Cuba. Hey, what did we do with Cuba? We gave it back. I mean, I wouldn't mind paying for something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We have to pay them too, don't we?
Not with my money.
Mr. Vanderhoff, I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is if you haven't paid an income tax, and you have got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I'm just
What's it? You don't. Okay. There are 48 states, you see. And if we didn't have interstate commerce, nothing can get from one state to another. Do you see?
Why not? Do they have fences?
No, they haven't got fences. They've got laws. My gosh, I've never came across anything like this before.
I might pay about $75 of it, but that's all for the works to me.
You'll pay everything and everybody else.
Listen to this, Ashley. Listen to this a minute.
Look out for those snakes.
How's that, Ashley? Well, let's have you folks.
I liked it.
My gosh, she was mad, wasn't she?
Well, it's not her fault. It's just the whole thing is so silly.
She forgot her hat.
What size is it?
7 and an 8.
Oh, that's perfect for me.
Say, who was that lady anyway?
Internal something or what's it?
This must be Mr. Kirby.
Better make sure this time.
I will. I hope he's good looking. How do you do?
Good evening.
Are you Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes.
It's out! It's out! Kirby! Well, hi, I'm Alice's mother.
Nice to meet you.
And that's her father.
Hello, how do you...
And that's grandfather.
Nice to meet you. Sorry.
And that's her sister Essie.
How do you do?
Spin it!
Oh, sorry.
And that's her husband.
How do you do, sir?
Well, there you go. That's all of us. Oh, give me your hat and make yourself at home. Oh, yes, Allison is. He's lovely. I'll be right now. Please have a seat.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. Oh, I hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
Oh, no.
Yes, thank you.
How about a piece of candy?
Oh, no, thanks.
Oh. Mr. Kirby.
How do you do, sir?
Did your father get indicted?
Oh, hardly that. He just testified in front of the Securities Commission.
Yes, of course, Mr. DePina. I'm sure there's nothing crooked about it. As a matter of fact, Alice was telling us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, I know Father couldn't get along without Alice. She knows more about the business than any of us.
Well, you're awfully young, aren't you, Mr. Kirby? To be vice president of a big place like that.
Well, you know what that means. Vice President, all I have is a desk with my name on it.
You don't get a salary?
Well, yes, a little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
That sounds kind of dull to me. Do you like it?
Well, the hours are short. And I just started working down there.
Oh, well, you're fresh out of college.
Oh, yes, I just sort of knocked around for a while.
Did you do any traveling?
Oh, yes, for a while. Then I went to Cambridge for a year.
England.
That's right.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen an English commencement? What are they like?
They are very impressive.
Oh, are
Sounds fun over. Best place in the world.
Oh, but you've had
here. I'm sure that Mr. Kirby can think on his own.
I wasn't making his mind up for him. Was I, Mr. Kirby?
That's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
If you'll excuse us for one moment. You mustn't rush him, Mother.
I wasn't. I'm just saying he's bound to get married and what if the wrong girl gets him?
Here I am, a vision in blue. Well, I see you've all had time to get acquainted.
Yes, we were just having a wonderful talk about love and marriage.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I came down as fast as I could.
It's quite all right. I didn't mind it in the least.
Dang those flies in the kitchen. Oh, Miss Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going?
I'm going out, Reba.
Stepping, huh? Oh, that must be Mrs. Kalinkoff.
Oh, we better be going.
Grandpa, you take cream on your cornflakes? I forget.
Half and half, Donald, thank you.
Ah, my little Radishka!
That's the link off, all right.
Good evening, everybody!
Good evening.
Grandpa. Grandpa, I have received a letter from Russia. The second 5-year plan is a failure.
I'm ready to say, Mrs. Kalinkoff.
Oh, my Pavlova!
Hello, Mrs. Kalinkoff. Miss Alice, I have never seen you look so magnificent.
Oh, well, thank you, Mrs. Kalinkoff. Oh, Mrs. Kalinkoff, this is Tony. Tony, this is Mrs. Kalinkoff, Essie's dance teacher.
How do you do?
How do you do? If you'll please excuse us, we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
The Monte Carlo Ballet, it stinks.
Yes. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. It's so nice to have met you all.
The Monte Carlo Ballet. Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Come on, dinner's ready.
I thought he was a nice fellow, didn't you?
Oh, and so good looking, didn't you think, Ed?
Oh. Did you notice his manners, Paul? Did you notice them?
I certainly did. You were getting pretty personal with him.
Oh, anyhow, Paul. I think it's wonderful. If they get married here, I think I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. Oh, if you wouldn't mind, Grandpa.
I wouldn't mind one bit if the snake did it.
Mother, the old wants to get married here. The wants to get married in a church with his family and have a proper wedding.
I like a church wedding. Yeah, the church wedding sounds a lot better.
Well, let's join hands. Well, here we are. Things have been going along just fine, and we're certainly much obliged. Remember, all we ask is to just go on and be happy in our own sort of way. I mean, we'd like to keep our health, too, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave that to you. Thank you. So the second 5-year plan is a failure, Kalinkoff?
Catastrophic and vague until they try the third 5-year plan.
Oh, geez.
Culver, just think, Alice marrying a Kirby. Isn't it exciting?
I'll play the wedding march on the xylophone. Man, am I hungry.
me a thrill.
Oh, Tony, it's been so lovely. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like something cold to drink?
Wonderful.
I will see what's in the icebox. You want to come along?
Darling, I follow you to the end of the earth.
Just the kitchen is enough. Oh, you're such a fool.
Yes, we didn't know whether to do empire or immigration.
You said it was Frigidaire.
Yes, it's easy to live with. Glad you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes gives you a rough idea of the sycamores.
Oh. Why do you make these bottle caps so hard? All over my coat.
I'll take mine in a glass if you don't mind.
Thank you. There you are. Foaming beaker.
Anyhow, it's cold.
Well, I guess if you'll be seated, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade a minute this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Oh, cross my heart.
Is there a lot of rice in China?
Terrific. Haven't you ever read The Good Art? Oh. I suppose I ought to go.
Oh, is it very late?
Very. I don't want to go.
I don't want you to go, Tony.
All right then, I won't. Say, when do you plan on taking your vacation?
Last 2 weeks in August.
Oh, I might take mine then too.
Really?
What do you think you're gonna do?
Oh, I don't know.
Travel, do you think?
I might go. I really like the city in the summertime.
Oh, I do too.
But don't you always go up to Maine?
Oh, that's right. But I'm sure I love the city in the summertime. You know what I'm saying, Alice. I'd love it if you were here.
I'd love it if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
You'd rather spend your summer with me than anybody else.
Was I?
Well, it's true about the summer then. How would you feel about the winter?
I like that.
And then there's spring and autumn, and if you could see your way clear about those, Mrs. Sycamore.
I might.
Well, I guess that's a whole year then. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Alice! Oh, Mr. Kirby, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
That's quite all right.
I just came down to find one of my manuscripts. Oh, here it is. Sex takes a holiday. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
You know, I think you've called a penny by now. Don't you think so? At least I hope.
You're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anybody else in the whole world.
Don't tell me.
Oh, darling, is it because of your mother? My dear, all mothers are like that. Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
That's not what I mean, Tony. Look, there's something I should have told you a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage to say it. I let myself be swept away because I love you so.
Darling.
But Tony, I want to make it clear to you. We're of a whole different world. A whole different kind of people. And I don't mean money or socially. That's just too silly. Because your family and mine, it just won't work, Tony. It won't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money, because she can't dance.
Well, you know what, Ed? I don't exactly call that dancing what she does. Hello. How was the ballet?
Oh, it was fine, I see.
Wonderful.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I have just been to see Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, yes, I've always thought so.
What does she do anyhow? Okay, look, you're Fred Astaire and I'll be Ginger Rogers. Watch, this is how she dances. I want to use it for a minute, Alice. Now look, Mr. Kirby. Essie.
We all agree you're just as good as Ginger Rogers.
You see, Ed?
Come on, Essie, we're butting in here.
Oh, they've been together all evening. Good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Maybe so.
Essie, did you ask Grandpa about us having a baby?
Oh, yeah, I did. He said to go right ahead.
Now you see what I mean, Tony? That's what it would be like.
I didn't mind that in the least. And besides, you wouldn't be living with your family. Just you and I.
No, it isn't, Tony. It's never quite that. I love them. I love them deeply. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they're rather strange and they do crazy things, but they're happy and they're fun and there's a nobility about them.
Alice, you tell me that only you can understand that. Why everybody has a family. Each one of them has its curious traits. My father raised 4 kids at $10,000 a ball. Is that sensible? My mother believes in spiritualism. Almost as bad as your mom running plays, isn't it?
Tony, it goes deeper. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable. And your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago, a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
What about Grandpa? 35 years ago, he just quit business one day. He went up the elevator and came right back down. He just quit. You know, he could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's been going to commencements and circuses and collecting snakes. It never occurs to any of them.
Hello there, children.
Good evening, Mr. Ravencroft.
Hello, Grandpa.
How's the weather look outside?
It's lovely outside, Grandpa.
Looks like a nice summer evening. Well, I'm off. I've got a date with a policeman.
Policeman?
Yes, you see, he's actually a doctor. But when he graduated, he told me, oh, thank you. He said, I don't want to be a doctor, I want to be a policeman. So I said, if that's what you want to be, then be what you want to be. And that's what he did. He became a policeman. I go and visit him every night. Oh, tell me, Tony. Do you like my new hat? The The government gave it to me.
Bring some fancy some candy. There it is. You all didn't want it, did you?
No, Donald.
Oh, thanks. Did you guys have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
Was the dinner nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
You explained Donald to your father. Grandpa. You couldn't, Tony. You couldn't do it. I love you, Tony, but I love them too. It's just no use, Tony. It's no use.
There's only one thing you said here that matters. That makes any sense at all. You love me.
Tony, I know so.
Oh, but darling, other people have had this problem. Everybody has families, don't they?
Not like mine.
But that doesn't stop you people who love each other and being together. Darling, go on trusting me and loving me and forget everything else
How can I?
because we belong together, darling. You know that. You must. And they want you to be happy. They must.
Well, of course they do. But they can't change, Tony. I wouldn't want them to change.
Well, they wouldn't have to change. They're charming, lovable people, just as they are. You're worrying about something that may never even come up.
Tony, am I?
Listen. We love each other. Isn't that so?
Yes.
Well
Oh, Tony.
done.
Tony.
Now, I'd like to see a little happiness around here, darling. Do you hear me? Young gentlemen calling and getting engaged and everything.
Tony, what do I say?
Well, first you thank the young gentleman for getting engaged to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then, you tell me what's about it. First took your girlish heart.
The back of your head. It wasn't your charm or your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
What happened when I turned around?
I got used to it after a while.
Think of it. We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know that I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
I'm not so lucky myself. Oh, well, I suppose I ought to go. Good night, darling. Until tomorrow.
Good night, Tony.
Thank goodness we work together. Otherwise, I'd have to hang around here all day.
Won't it be funny in the office tomorrow, going on as though nothing had happened?
Thank goodness I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day long. I love you. I love you.
Oh, darling, you're such a fool.
Oh, won't you meet me in the drugstore in the morning? I'll have a million things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch, and then dinner after that.
Oh, Tony, what are people going to say?
Darling, it's gotta come out sometime. In fact, do you know good rooftop? I'd like to do a little shouting.
Oh, Tony.
Yes, sir, Mr. DePina. We did a good night's work. That's what? 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, 8 dozen junior kitty bars. Pretty good. Hey, you want to count them up for me? Make sure we got everything there. All right. Hello, Alice. Just come in?
Oh, no, Father, I've been home for quite a while.
Have a nice evening?
I had a beautiful evening, Father.
Say, I'd like for you to check out this new red fire. Mr. DePina, you get the lights, I'm going to get the whole bag.
Oh, what, Father?
Just wait till you see this red fire. It's beautiful.
Oh, Father, everything's beautiful.
I promise, it is beautiful. It's got a little kick Yeah, there we go, Mr. Pino. Maybe. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's the most beautiful red fire